Oh. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone. My foot hurt. My intention was to fall from the ceiling, but apparently I made it all the way back down to the bottom. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between that, and welcome on into the video. Podcasting equipment. Oh my god. Can we start making podcast equipment more expensive, please? For the love of God. There are so many people who sit in front of a camera. I see these clips all the time, and they're just saying the most blatantly incorrect or insane things. Like, there could be a group of people sitting around a table with like 18 brain cells accumulated across them, and they'll be like, did you know the Declaration of Independence was written by a guy with 3 arms? And everyone in the table will be like, oh my god. What? You're right, though. I believe that my grandfather was there and he wrote on it too. Look, I have it. Here's the Declaration of Independence. There it is. There's his signature, guy with 3 arms. I can't believe I just wrote Declaration of Independence on a piece of paper for the start of a bit. Get this out of here. Podcasters hurt me. People just eat this shit up. You make so much money doing podcasts. Podcasting, honestly, is like the easiest money farm besides making skibbity toilet shorts on YouTube. And so, of course, in honor of that podcasters, I wanted to look at some of the dumbest podcast clips that I have found in my recent time. Starting off with one that you guys might recognize, because Moist Critical made a video about this relatively recently, where Terrence Howard went on Joe Rogan's podcast and tried to convince him of a plethora of things, like how 1 times 1 equals 2, which we'll start with that one right now. Let's just give this a quick listen.
But then he started attacking, the 1 times 1 equaling 2.
By the way, for context, because I wanted to skip past this whole minute where he tries to explain that he sent that proposition to Neil deGrasse Tyson, although he pronounces it Neil deGrasse Tyson, but let's continue regardless.
How did he attack them?
Oh, he was, because I asked him, I said, under what conditions? I said, it's illogical where the square root of a number added to itself will equal more than that number squared. But that's what happens with the square root of 2. That's what happens with most of the numbers.
Oh, no. Is that what his shirt says? Oh, no.
So it's like, how is it that multiplication, if it means to make more and increase a number?
What did it mean that?
How is 1 times 1 equaling 1 part of the multiplication table? Now, I understand that if you're seeing it 1 time.
Right.
But we call that once. But the moment that you add the times in there, that multiplicative indicator, that means there is more than 1.
He's just kind of saying things. Like, what do you mean? So wait, if I take this and then multiply it 1 time, so there is now 1 time of this, how many are there? You're right, there's 2 of them now. What the hell is he thinking? Okay.
So now each equation is supposed to be balanced. That equal sign is supposed to show that there's a balance between these 2 numbers over here and a balance on this one over here. What happened to the other one in this equation?
Yeah, it's one of them! There is one of the one! I just got here. I can't get this worked up already. I'm sorry.
It didn't equate. And then I took the square root of that number. I took the square root of 2. Because all this started in 3rd grade. I was arguing with my teacher because we're talking about the square root of 100. Oh, my God.
So your phone?
Yeah, that's my detox thing. I'm supposed to detox right now.
Detox from what? Crack? You might still be on it. What is he thinking? And that's one of the first clips, and I shit you not, the whole podcast is him talking about things that make him look genuinely insane. I have another clip from that podcast, and then we'll keep going down the rabbit hole of other ones, but I want to talk about this one as well, where he talks about the multiple Earth theory. There's a second Earth. Did you guys know that? I didn't, but apparently Terrence did. Let's give it a quick listen.
I believe that they had humanoids that developed on there. The same way that everything, that's the periodic table. They call it the periodic table because these things happen according to periodicity.
Periodicity? Wait, I need to look this up 1 second. The quality or character of being periodic. Oh, fuck you. I hate when definitions do that. It's like, oh, what is sounding? It's when you sound. Okay, wait, that's probably one of the worst. Don't look that up. Don't not look up what that is. The tendency to recur at intervals. What does this have to do with the elements? Let's continue. Let's listen to this genius.
They happen under regular events. You change the motion and pressure conditions, the crystallization changes. We call it a different element, but it's the same substance. Like my hand is one substance, but if I do it like this and do it like this and do it like this, it looks like a whole different thing.
So is he claiming that if my hand, oh my god, wait. it doesn't look the same. This is just like how water is actually technically carbon monoxide. Go ahead. If you breathe in carbon monoxide, go ahead. Sit in a car, turn it on, close all the doors in the garage, and just sit there. You're actually drinking water. It's just, they try to trick you into thinking it's a completely different element. And honestly, it's just the Illuminati trying to get over on you. They're pulling a blanket over your eyes.
And they can call it a different element, but it's the same element under different motion and pressure conditions. I believe that Sirius used to be a planet.
Siri, are you a planet?
I don't understand.
It's the Illuminati. They're trying to cover it all up. God damn it.
When it was here and the humanoids on there didn't recognize that we don't have a solid core. Everything expands as a sphere, and no sphere in our universe, no bubble has a solid core. And at CERN, that Hadron Collider, that particle accelerator.
What? We've changed.
I believe they did the same thing, and they popped their planet.
No! You can pop the planet like a bubble? Why has no one taken a pin to the ground yet? That would have been so funny. That would have been the best prank.
Became that asteroid belt.
Really?
Just take it, if you add
I love Joe Rogan. He's sitting there like, what the fuck? This guy is insane. Really? Is that actually what that is? And he just takes it all in. I love that. I think that's one of the reasons Joe Rogan has such a successful podcast, is because he just doesn't express his opinions. He just listens to the insane shit everyone says and is like, is that so?
Just take it, if you add up all of the weight of the mass of those of the asteroids in the asteroid belt, it will probably equal the same mass as that of Mars.
Wait, so if you add up a bunch of rocks in space, it'll weigh approximately the same as a rock in space? Probably. I love this so much.
I thought the concept of the asteroid belt was, well, first of all, there's the concept of Earth 1 and Earth 2, right?
Oh, God, he knows this?
So
Yeah.
Earth 1 was a planet that was hit by a planet.
Of course he knows this. He has every conspiracy theorist and their grandmother on his podcast. He probably knows every single different variant of manic episodic variations of history. It's just all the different kinds of ways you could interpret it.
So you believe that the sun is the origin of these planets?
Of all the planets. Every solar
solar
star
system
within its solar system gives birth to all of these other planets. This is what Walter Russell had talked about. This is what.
Does this hurt the sun? Or is the birth okay? How does that work?
Their math doesn't allow it because it believes in a two-dimensional space. And remember, there are no two-dimensional spaces because in order for anything to be perceived, it has to be measurable. And measurable needs 3 dimensions.
Wait,
but
what
it
are you
actually
talking?
needs-
Wait, hold up. Wait, so he's saying that if I can't see it, it doesn't exist? Is he working on goddamn baby peekaboo physics right now? Is this what he's doing? What is he talking about?
4, it needs your perspective. You are the 4th dimension, and that's what.
I won't lie, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I'm no Neil deGrasse Tyson, okay? I'm not someone who knows a lot about this stuff. However, this guy said 1 × 1 = 2. and that 2-dimensional things just don't exist because I can't see them. Like, that, come on, that's common sense at this point. However, common sense is actually kind of I feel like the word common and common sense needs to be redefined because it's not that common anymore. There are definitely people who watch this Joe Rogan podcast and probably believe Terrence. Like, they probably picked it up at him saying it, and he's so confident in the way he says it, they're like, holy shit, wait. This guy's kind of cooking.
There are no straight lines. Like if you look
right,
at this,
even in a box.
if you looked at this, you'll say, "Oh, that's a square right there,
No, that looks more like a flower.
right in the middle."
Sure.
You'll see that square happening right there.
Uh-huh.
But if you look at it from the side, from its real perspective, you see that it's not. The straight lines are an illusion.
Holy shit, he is working on baby peekaboo physics. This is actually like what he's doing.
Again, we are being fooled by our senses because there is no motion in the straight line. So all these homes that they're building,
What do straight lines and homes have to do with I'll hear him out. Let me hear him out.
and they keep wondering, why do they keep blowing over? Why don't you make the homes look like a mushroom? Follow the curvature of nature, and you won't have to worry about rebuilding them in hurricane zones or in tornado zones.
Okay, I will say, Terrence, you're cooking here. I would love to live in a little hobbit hole. That would be kind of cute. However, the rest of it made no sense. How did you go from straight lines don't exist to build your houses like mushrooms? what is going on? And that's just Joe Rogan's podcast, which to be honest doesn't even fit into the guise of podcasting equipment needs to be more expensive because he is a millionaire, so it doesn't really matter. He'd have it regardless. But then we have people popping up all over the place like this guy who
I, for the life of me, cannot get into grown-ass men playing video games. I'm going to be very honest with y'all. I am 40 years old. I have a lot of friends. I've got fraternity brothers. I've got friends who are doctors, lawyers, dentists. I've got friends who are dope boys. I got all types of
dope like Pillsbury
friends, and none of them play PlayStation.
I see. So you have Xbox friends then?
It's just something about me and a woman that go with a man that play PlayStation. You deserve kiddie games, kiddie attitudes, and all the kiddie shit that he put you through. And I know it's a lot of hit holes on this thing right now. It would be the biggest turnoff to me if I was on the phone with my man. I say, babe, what you doing? And this nigga say, I'm on my way to GameStop to pick up the latest Madden. He could never.
Well, okay, here's the problem. You're talking to men who play Madden. He's like, oh, men can't play video games. And if you're a woman and you have a man that plays a video game, he's probably a pussy. Have you ever thought for maybe, I know this is going to be a challenge to gauge for a second, that's how you feel and not how literally everyone else feels? I'm not talking to you. There are probably someone, maybe even watching this video, that feels the same way and don't like video games in a relationship. And if that's so, that's fine. That's how you like it. There's probably someone out there for you who feels the same. But, like, pushing the idea with podcasts and relationship podcasts who are like, you can come to me for advice in a relationship and to put their word as law is so goofy because most of the time it's not an opinion that would help them in a relationship. Like, quitting video games isn't going to necessarily make women fall head over heels for you. Being a good person does that. I've also seen similar usages of this in the other direction. I saw one podcast talking about how...
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs.
Okay.
And so, apparently, if you're making below $50,000, you can't afford food. It's so goofy that it's like a shot through the heart that people take podcast relationship advice seriously. Like, there are people who actually treat this shit like law, and then we have people with the emotional maturity of Elon Musk and wonder how it happened. The answer's right there. I don't even know what this clip was. I just wanted to hear it.
There's one thing I would say about London men is they are so attractive, but my golly gee, are they broke.
Okay, wait. Never mind. She just said, my golly gee. I'm not even going to watch that one. All right, what is this one? I'm actually curious about this one.
We were talking about this. If you have already said yes to something, listen to me so carefully. If you've already said yes to something,
I'm listening.
And then leading up to it, you do not want to go, you're getting sick, you're just tired, you don't want to go, all these, what if I just skipped? That is because God has something so big for you there, and the devil wants to steal it. Whoa. If you say yes.
Don't say whoa. This is what I'm talking about. Everyone's like, oh my God, you're cooking. What the hell? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? So, like, oh, shit, my entire house burned down, and my friend wants to go gambling at the casino with me. This is the devil trying to stop me. I need to go gamble. I can earn the house back at the slot machine, baby.
It's just something in the spirit, and you're like lit. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna commit to these plans. This is gonna be great. And then like leading up to it, you know that feeling like last minute where you're like, I want to just stay in my pajamas. I don't want to go. Sounds like work. I don't know. I'm scared. And then you say no, bro. That is an attack from the enemy because he knows that could be fruitful.
The enemy? Who's the enemy? That sounds extremely intimidating. Let's say you're about to go on a Tinder date, right? And there's a guy, and you figure out, oh, in his free time, he, Jeffrey Dahmer's people. Oh, well, you're not gonna go on the date now? Okay, pussy. That's the devil trying to stop you. You could have had the perfect partner, and he would have treated you so well and thought you were delicious. But instead, you're gonna wait because the devil won, okay? You're a freak for that. And of course, moving forward, we have probably the worst one I've seen so far, and I don't even want to introduce you to this. I just want you to hear what this guy says.
I was actually once driving my date home, and she said to me, I don't need a man.
You don't need a man.
I said, are you sure? She said, yeah. I said, so get the out the car and hitchhike. Turned out, she got kidnapped. And that's a great example of why women need men.
That's not a good example at all. That only good example that is a good example of that guy being a fucking asshole. I don't need no man. I can actually be independent and support myself as a person. Oh, really? Turn into a car then, bitch. Turn into Lightning McQueen. Go home yourself. You don't need me? That's so insecure of him. Like, you know, like, oh, you don't need me for everything? Kidnapping spell. That's not a sign of women needing men. That's just a sign that that man is very mentally ill. And how could I ever end a video about horrible podcast clips without including the one where Alex Jones started crying live recently? Let's just listen, then I'll give you the context.
At the end of the day, we're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight.
He's not trying to be dramatic.
These people hate our children. Just take more calls. Go ahead and do the next person.
What the fuck was that he just said at the end there? What was that? I love this guy. He looks so incredibly uncomfortable. So does this guy. But what was that at the end? What was...
Take more calls. Go ahead and do the next person.
Oh my god, his Winter Soldier programming activated or something. What was that? So, for context, this is about him having a... I read, I might be incorrect here, but either multi-million or billion? Question mark? That's the number I saw. Dollar lawsuit because of all of the school shootings he's denied and said they're fake because the parents are suing him because, you know, their children were unalived in a school, and he's like, that was fake. That was a fake. That was a Fed set it up. It's all been a ruse all along. So, of course, the whole thing where he said they're trying to hurt our children is hilarious, and I'm not going to try and get political here. However, there's nothing political about saying Alex Jones is a fucking Nimrod. But of course, I'm probably going to wrap this video up for now because my brain's about to hemorrhage. That was... I've had enough of seeing morons in podcasts. Oh god, the clip's playing again. Get away, Alex. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you were new. Like the video if you liked it. And give me your thoughts on this. And if you have any other podcast clips you want me to look at, send them my way. I would love to, like, make a series out of reacting to morons on podcasts because there is quite literally millions of hours of podcast footage out there because everyone's made one. Their grandma's made one. I wouldn't be shocked if there is a grandma-themed podcast. But of course, send me those clips if you want to in my Discord. I link in the description down below. Subscribe, as I said, and I'll see you in my next video. And as always, adios, arrivederci, goodbye, good night. And, yeah, maybe think before you press the record button, for the love of God, my goodness.